ever feel completely swamped by your emotions, like you're just trying to keep your head above water.
Absolutely. It happens.
Well, today we're going to explore something really interesting, an ancient approach that suggests maybe we can do more than just float. Maybe we can actually transform those choppy waters.
Exactly. We're looking at insights from the Kashyapa Sutra Bija mantras. It's material we found over on www.shreemaa.org,
Okay.
and it introduces something called Bija mantras. These are essentially seed sounds believed to hold specific potent energies.
Seed sounds like tiny sonic packets of energy, each with a purpose.
That's a good way to put it, yeah. And the Kashyapa Sutra, according to this document, seems to lay out how we can use these sounds to, shift our own emotional landscape.
So the goal for us today, our mission, if you like, is to really understand some practical techniques from this tradition, things that you could potentially use for better emotional balance.
And starting with the Kashyapa Sutra itself,
Mm.
the document we're referencing from the Devi Mandir website mentions Chapter 4 specifically. It says this chapter really gets into the connection, the deep link between our human feelings and these Sanskrit Bija mantras. It's an ancient text focused right on that relationship.
Wow. So the core idea is we might actually be able to change negative feelings into positive ones just by using specific sounds. That's quite a thought.
It is compelling, isn't it?
Yeah.
And the document details two main ways to do this chanting. Methods shared by Swamiji in one of their video classes, Kashyapa Sutra Video Class 5, apparently available on the site.
Okay, two methods. What's the first one?
So the first technique is quite direct. You start by identifying the negative emotion you want to work on.
Right.
And in this system, each emotion has a kind of corresponding Bija mantra, a specific sound. Now, this specific excerpt doesn't list them all, but the principle is clear. You'd recite the Bija for that negative feeling for one full mala.
One mala. That's the string of 108 beads used for counting the repetitions, right? Helps keep focus.
Precisely, 108 times. Then, right after finishing the mala for the negative emotion sound, you immediately start chanting another mala 108 reps again of the Bija mantra for the positive state you want to bring in.
Okay, and they give an example, which is helpful. Like if you're dealing with anger, the Bija for anger is given as Kram. So you chant Kram 108 times.
Yeah.
Then say you want to cultivate contentment, peace. The Bija for that is Sham. So you follow up immediately with 108 chants of Sham.
Exactly that. A clear two-step process.
Yep.
Address the negative, then actively invite the positive.
Makes sense. Now, you said there were two methods described. What's the second approach?
Right. The second one is a bit different. Instead of doing the mantras one after the other, you actually combine them. You blend the seed sound for the negative emotion with the seed sound for the positive one.
Ah, okay. So back to the anger piece example. Instead of Kram, then Sham.
You'd chant Kram Sham together
Ah.
with one combined sound.
And you'd chant that combined sound, Kram Sham, for one mala. 108 times.
That's the second technique. And what's really interesting is the document clearly states both methods are seen as equally effective.
Huh. So you can choose whichever feels right for you.
Seems so, yeah.
Yeah.
It gives you some flexibility in the practice.
What really stands out about these methods for you?
I think it's the sense of agency it offers. It suggests we can actively participate in managing our emotional state. It's not just being passively swept away. It's consciously using a tool, these sounds, to aim for transformation.
Yeah, that active role is powerful. And importantly for you listening, while this piece doesn't give us the whole list of which mantra goes with which emotion, it really points towards those resources being available, likely on that same website, www.shreemaa.org. So you are encouraged to look there to find the specific sounds relevant to what you might be feeling or wanting to shift.
Which really brings us back to the website, www.shreemaa.org. It's mentioned so often in the document, it really positions itself as a central hub for accessing these teachings from Shree Maa and Swamiji. It seems like a really rich resource.
It really does. And there's this warm invitation in the text to join the online satsanga, the community gatherings with Shree Maa and Swamiji. They even give the times 7:30 in the morning and 8:30 at night, Pacific time, every day.
Wow, daily.
Yeah. And it mentions a link, just refer to it here in the text, to join. That's quite an opportunity for direct connection.
Definitely. And for people who can't make those live times, maybe because of time zones or schedules, the document also says recordings are available, again, through that same here link mentioned. So the teachings are still accessible.
That's great. You can really feel a sense of respect and dedication in the source material, especially where it expresses gratitude to Swamiji for sharing these teachings. It hints at the lineage and the care involved.
Absolutely. And if you're curious about Shree Maa and Swami Satyananda Saraswati themselves, the document points you to the About section on the website.
Ah, okay.
Specifically links like Meet Shree Maa and Meet Swami Satyananda Saraswati. So you can learn more about them, their background, their work.
And it seems the site offers more than just these specific chanting techniques we discussed. It mentions a whole practices section
Hmm.
and highlights mantras as a key resource there. So if you're interested in the bigger picture of mantra practice, that sounds like the place to go.
Definitely. And maybe if you're just wanting to dip your toe in, the document also mentions free classes and video excerpts available on www.shreema.org. Good ways to get a feel for the teachings and, the presence of Shree Maa and Swamiji.
Good starting points. And for those wanting to really go deeper into the source text, it looks like under presentations on the site, the Kashyapa Sutras themselves are listed. What we've talked about is just scratching the surface, it seems.
It really does. That website, www.shreema.org, it comes across as a very comprehensive, welcoming place to explore these ancient tools for emotional balance and spiritual growth, guided by Shree Maa and Swamiji.
So as we wrap up this particular deep dive, what's the main takeaway from looking into these Kashyapa Sutra Bija mantras and the Devi Mandir resources?
I think the core message is one of empowerment. It's the idea that we aren't just stuck with difficult emotions. There are practical ancient techniques like these chanting methods that offer a way to actively work with them. It's an invitation, really.
An invitation to engage with our inner world differently. And we definitely encourage you, our listener, to check out www.shreema.org. It seems like there's a lot more information there about the Biha mantras, about Shree Maa and Swamiji, their teachings, maybe even a community to connect with.
Yeah. And perhaps this leaves you with something to think about. Is there a particular emotion you're feeling right now that you might like to work on transforming? Maybe exploring these chanting methods, using the resources on www.shreema.org as a guide could be a really valuable step on your own path to, greater well-being and inner calm.